Nullawarre, I'm Colleen and I'm a member of Beach Patrol in Nullawarre, and I'm passionate about removing litter from the marine environment. I'm going to take you on a beach walk and we're going to remove litter. We are on Yarrawitch country at a place called Terry's Beach in southwest Victoria, and it is an absolute stunning beach for a beach walk. I have my backpack here with a few essentials in it. Some water to keep me hydrated. I have some collection bags, my rain and wind jacket in case the weather turns nasty. I've got some gloves here for collecting rubbish. I've got a first aid kit in case of any emergencies. I've got some secateurs, and that's for cutting fishing rope out of seaweed. And of course, I've got my phone here for taking photos and also any emergency calls if need be. I think that's about it, so let's get going. So just a few things you need to be careful of when you go to a beach like this. Because it is a remote beach, you're better off having someone with you in case of any accidents that might occur. It is a wild ocean, so never turn your back on the sea in case there's any rogue waves. And on the way down, we're going to be walking on a track it is a bit of a goat track, so you need to be careful of your footing. The other thing you need to be careful of, because we will be walking through sand dunes, is of any snakes. We'll head up to the east end of the beach first, have a look around there, and then we'll walk to the west. Okay, I've found my first little bit of marine debris, and that's just a hard plastic remnant. And although it's just a tiny piece, it is possible that this can cause a lot of harm if a seabird ingests that. It'd be very painful if this was stuck in your stomach. Okay, keep moving. The aim of today is to remove anything on the beach that shouldn't be here, so anything man-made and unnatural, and to leave this beach in a better state to when we arrived. Although we don't see much on Terry's Beach today, we've been to this beach a few times this year and had massive cleanups, lots and lots of rubbish. So come summer months, we often don't find too much on the beach. Winter time, there's a heck of a lot. I found something here. So that is part of a bait basket or a bait saver, and they're used in rock lobster pots. So that's just a remnant of one of those. Found something else over here. This is a top of a tube, possibly maybe a toothpaste tube, and the tube is made out of a different type of plastic than the top part. The top part of the tube's often a harder plastic, and that's more buoyant and likely to last longer in the environment. What have you found? To me, it kind of looks like it could even be the end of a belt. You see these holes, and just the fact that it sort of bends around quite a lot, and the shape, I would say that's a broken piece of belt. Well, we can't see too much up this end, so we'll turn around and walk to the west. Often plastic blows up the beach and lands at the base of the dunes, so that's a good spot for finding stuff, or washes in on the most recent tide line, and that's a good place to look for plastics as well. Something orange. So this here is fishing rope, and it's a fishing rope scrap. Fishing ropes are actually made of plastic nylon, and they're made to last. That's a really strong fibre. Also a danger to marine animals. This can get wrapped around the beak of a bird or around the legs or the wings and cause immobility. Look here. So my helper here has found a few things. This is crude oil or tar balls. Now these could have seeped up from the ocean floor, or could be the result of an oil spill. The tar balls, they roll along the bottom of the ocean and then wash up on the beach. We do find lots of these along our coastline here. These crude oil balls are actually toxic. You need to take them out of the environment, but don't put them in your rubbish bin. Call your local council and find out how to dispose of them properly, because these shouldn't be really going into landfill either. And he's got something else here which looks a bit like a tar ball, but is not a tar ball. This here is tar, but it's cork, so I'm not exactly sure what that is from, but tar and cork there. This is called a squid jig, and this is used on the squid boats for squid fishing. Here we have a bottle lid. And you might not be able to see that. It actually says Aqua on it. Now, Aqua is an Indonesian water bottle brand. And for whatever reason, Aqua bottle lids are the most common bottle lids we find on our beach here in southwest Victoria. Thousands and thousands of kilometres away from Indonesia, of course. And lids are really highly buoyant, so they float on the ocean surface. And the bottles themselves will often sink to the ocean floor, whereas the lids come off and keep floating around the world and washing up. That looks to me like it's the inside of a bottle lid. And here it's a broken container. It would have been one of those round plastic food containers that has broken up as well, and that's quite pointy. So over here we have a plastic bottle. The interesting thing about this bottle is we can tell that it's probably been floating for quite some time because it's grown these goose barnacles. Because goose barnacles do attach themselves to plastic, and because plastic lasts so long in the ocean, pest species can actually move from country to country on plastic bottles such as this. The red's actually from rock lobster pots that have been broken up. Once they're out in the marine environment, they become brittle and break up into these sharp pieces. There we go, it's a broken up bit from a bottle lid. And here's another bit of plastic as well, another bag of some sort. And you can see how plastics break up and up in the ocean. They don't ever truly go away. In the end, they'll end up being plastic dust, and they do get in the food chain. So this is interesting because this is you can see here, Coca-Cola. So we know it's a Coca-Cola bottle, but if we turn it over, we also see some Asian writing. So this Coca-Cola bottle has not been littered locally. You'd be surprised about the amount of foreign drink bottles that wash up on our beaches. I actually find more foreign drink bottles than Australian branded drink bottles. With a lot of marine debris, you don't know where it's come from, but with foreign drink bottles, often they still have the label on, or they might have branding on the lid, and from that we can work out its origins. We don't believe a lot of these foreign drink bottles have actually floated here, because often we'll find fresh bottles, the label's quite new, and often they'll have dates on them as well. So they might have only been manufactured 2 months ago and already they're arriving on our beaches in southwest Victoria. So we know from that they're possibly coming off ships, and we actually want to get a bit of an idea of exactly how big the problem is, and from that we'll take action, work out what we're going to do about it. It's, no, I thought for a minute there was metal, but it's not. Actually, don't get too excited. A tiny little bit of foam, but that would be from a foam buoy. You can see it's still got a bit of the orange paint on it there. On our previous visits this year, we have collected a lot of marine debris off this beach. It's a very remote beach, which is nowhere near any kind of river system or storm water. So what washes up on here is true ocean litter and is a great indicator of what is floating out there in the ocean. So although today we haven't found much debris, it still all adds up. You know, any of these bits of plastic, if they were to stay in the marine environment, they could go on to kill a marine animal or a seabird for all we know. So always great to pick up whatever you see and remove it from the beach. We can all do our bit to help the environment and our wildlife by removing plastic litter from our beaches. It's a really simple thing to do. When you see it, pick it up. But that's all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for coming on the beach walk with me, picking up some litter. I really hope you learned something. If you want to know more about how to look after our coastline, join Beach Patrol Group.